Keep your head, neck, back erect. Gently relax your shoulders, pushing your shoulders back. Try to lift up your spine as much as possible. The entire torso anteriorly, posteriorly. If your neck is jutting out, relax your neck. Let it be in neutral position. For once, observe the base of your body, your legs, your glutes if you're sitting. Let the base be strong, balanced between right and left. Observe the crown of your head, perceiving the higher center. Quieten and relax, unload all the duties off from the higher center. Relax, repose. Switch your awareness slowly to the incoming and outgoing breath. Feel your breath. Feel the coolness of air, warmth of air. Enjoy the breath. With all intent, let's make this breath a voluntary one. Inhale slow, deep, and long. Exhale slower, deeper, and long. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out completely. Be with the pattern of the breath. Ekatattva abhyasaha. The practice of oneness with the breath. Without your mind, just be with the breath. Listen to the prayer. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudramarutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanastita Tatgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidussura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Simple palming. In the previous verse, Dukkeshu Anudvigna Manaha Sukeshu Vigataspraha Vitaraga Bhayakrodaha Sitadihi Muniruchate. We understood a certain dimension of a sage who has this perfect wisdom, whose wisdom is perfectly established, that he or she who could be away from raga, bhaya, and krodha, fear, attachment, fear, and anger, can keep their mind steady, can keep their intellect steady. Sorry. And that's how he or she is away from the super anxious mind that can excite you during pleasure, during times of pleasure, that can make you feel depressed in times of sorrow. That is why a yogi, a sage, is different from the normal layman or from the public. Now, in that regard, we're going to have beautiful set of characteristics where Krishna calls him the Jnani, the Jnana Yogi, or as Sthita Prajna. We are going to learn the next shloka, 2.57. Yas sarvatra nabhisnehaha Yas sarvatra nabhisnehaha tat tat prapya shubhashubham tat tat prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. In this verse, sneha, the word sneha is the catchphrase. Like neha, it is sneha. Sneha here means not as in Hindi, love. It can also be taken as love, but definitely sneha, the word sneha means viscous, oily. What happens when you touch oil? The moment you touch oil, oil sticks to you. That's what which happens. So sneha here means attachment, sticky, oily attachment. Shrimad Bhagavatam, the Mahatmyam says, Kaf putraha dhanakasya snehavan jvalato anisham. Who is your son? Whose wealth is this? One whose sneha, oily attachment is very strong, he will always put into the fire of trouble. He will always be burning with sorrows. Yeah, that's why the term burnout came into picture. Burnout syndrome is because of lots and lots of troubled stimulus, action potentials to the body, to the mind, and thereby there is no energy. Comes to the state where the energy is lost. Burnout. And Krishna talks about the source of this burnout. The source of the burnout is sneha. How is the yogi? How is the Sthita Prajna dealing with this? Yaha sarvatra anabhi sneha. The person who has no sneha, no attachment. With whom? Sarvatra. With everyone. With everything. Oh, you mean your son, your daughter, your consort, your wealth, your assets. You mean those? A yogi takes one step high. Yes, all with those, but also no attachment towards his body, no attachment towards his mind, no attachment towards his senses. That is one step higher. Param Vairagya. Viragaha. Now that is without attachment. Sneha, anabhisneha is nothing but vairag. Patanjali says, Abhyasa vairagyabhyan tan nirodha. To avoid all these, you need just two factors. To avoid what? To avoid all the vrittis. Vrittis are those whirlpools that are caught, that we are caught in our head. No? If so many whirlpools, why do Rishi Patanjali calls them as whirlpools? Because they never end. They circle. The thought comes up, comes down, and then comes back to the same point. And you're caught in that. You're entangled in that. What happens after that? You are not, even if you're a great swimmer, you will not be out of it. You're caught there. But there is a way. What is the way? Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. Do abhyasa. Do practice. Practice inhibition of vrittis. How do I practice? And there is so many other sutras. We'll take Patanjali Yoga Sutras also a little while later after we finish. After my life finishes, perhaps, with Bhagavad Gita. We'll do the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Anyways, he says, okay, when you practice long, you practice with determination, you practice with Shraddha, with faith, respect, and a lot more determination to the sadhana. And apart from practice, you have to practice one more thing very dearly. What is that? Lose the dearly ones. Get rid of what is dearly to you. Loosen the attachments that you've got. Okay. You mean I have to loosen all the attachments that I've got, which means I'm going to be a rough person, a person who has dry emotions. I have to turn dry. I have to live like a communist. Oh, that's very easy. I'm very attuned to it. No, no. A yogi discharges all his duties, all with all awareness, by having constant detachment from his body, from his mind, from his senses. Which means he knows that the I identity is capturing me. It is saying, this is I. Why am I sorrow? Because my son is running high in fever. Oh. Then Bhagavatam says, ask the question. The questions I was saying, is he your son? Eventually not. Was he your son? Will he be your son? So in place of petrified mood, or in place of panicky state of mind and helping your son, with that sense of detachment, you will help your son get rid of his sickness by discharging your duties. So here, I'll put the same phrase. Yes, sarvatra anabhisneha. Sneha is true love. True love without attachment, like Neha. Sneha has become Neha in Hindi. This is true love without attachment. So, how he is discharging duties with true love to everyone. See the difference? What we think as true love in fairy tale is not enjoying all the luxuries with the Prince Charming, riding a horse and going to a nowhere land. What is it called? No land, huh? Heavenly land, whatever it is. It is not so. There again, there is vested self-interest, which is hidden. There's always a hidden agenda there. A princess should always be handsome. Prince should be enough, sufficient enough, equipped enough to make me live with all luxuries or accomplish all my desires. So that is not true love. Fairy tale cannot have true love. What is true love? Discharging your duties like worship of God. Discharging your duties like worshipping God. What happens while worshipping God or worshipping? You become sacred. You stand still. You take a pause. Oh, I have to be ready. I have to be, my mind has to be ready. My body has to be pure. I'll take bath. I'll chant some shlokas. I'll chant some mantras. I'll do some rituals. Light a candle or light a lamp. Incense sticks. Offer some flowers. Offer some sweets. So the entire intent behind worship or puja or upasana is ego surrender. What feeds the ego? What feeds the ego? The next phrase comes. Tat tat prapya shubha shubha. Your ego is fed with pleasure. Your ego detests that which is bad. It is this ego that gains the experience of pleasure and pain, right? So, a yogi, when there is a shubha means auspicious thing coming in life. There's always delight, Okay, there's a letter coming to your door saying that you've been rewarded with cash prize this much and a presidential award. What happens? Blooming experience. Oh my God. I was doing a small job, but still I've been recognized. Wow, wonderful. That's a delightful experience. Few days later, you come to realize that you've been sitting idle with nobody recognizing you. Nobody knows who you are. That is classic ill fame, right? That is classic defaming any person who is an expert. For example, you're a great sports person and nobody knows you. Nobody recognizes you. You live in poverty. Your family is poor. You work for the entire nation. You've run errands. You have wasted your body. There's so much of hypertrophy, hence atrophy in the muscles. All lethargy sets in. Now you are no more a person of worth. You lost your self-worth also. Now this is completely the opposite situation. It's a pain in your head. It is an inauspicious thing. Krishna says a yogi does not take good, delightful experience from the good, that does not detest bad in the inauspicious. He is completely stable. How come? How come this is possible? Is he a man? Is he made of senses? Doesn't he have skin? If I pinch him, will he not feel the pinch? Definitely. Definitely there is worry. Definitely there is pleasure. He is not a man made of iron pillar. No. Definitely there is pleasure and pain in place in his life. But the choice of not taking it as pleasure or pain is in his hands. It's just a smart choice. It's just a small trick. Skill is yoga. कर्मों में कुशलता ही योग है. That skill in the actions, the skill to do. It's a trick. It's just a knack that you have to use. Why is he doing this? Because he knows, if I have to act, discharge my duties bodily, mentally, with all my senses, with detachment, I have to take away pleasure and pain from my life. Coming back to the same example of a sports person. Yeah. When he is trained madly, crazily, he is trained crazily, he trains himself crazily. The first thing is that sets in is psychological fatigue. Yeah. He supersedes that fatigue and then trains a bit more. How does he do it? How does he do it? Although it is called psychological fatigue, it is fatigue that he realizes. But he knows the art of overcoming it. So it is definitely humanly possible to overcome what is a hurtful feeling. What happens when I make you hold in the posture for 20 seconds? Why do you smile? Why do you smile? There is definitely pain. It's a state of discomfort. But you try to overcome that state of discomfort. There is pleasure. There's a sort of accomplishment, there's a sort of happiness. And that is revealed in your face, a smile. So it is definitely humanly possible to overcome Shubha and Ashubha. Only when it inflicts inside and you take that identity. No, he had bad mouth about my parents. Gone. What happened here? I have applied oil to my parents. I have applied that attachment to my parents. That sneha had come. There, the emphasis was on my parents. Again, it is selfishness, dear. You understood? It can be any Tom, Dick, and Harry. If Tom, Dick, and Harry gets bad mouthed, you will not be worried. If it is bad mouthed about your parents, then you start to worry. Why? Not because they are parents. Ego plays a vital role in pleasure and pain. I come to the same point. It is my parents. My identity of getting born to X and Y. My body. They were my life givers. You know, see the emphasis. This is what yogi cuts off. He snips the bud of attachment, of I-ness and mindness in that identity. Hence, he can show true love to the person who badmouths about his parents. Yes, sarvatra anabhisneha. Yeah, strange yet humanly possible. What is the benefit? We are all benefit derivers, no? Always our mind craves for benefits. I'll give you that also. If you had started seeing yourself in everyone, there would be no anger, no special priorities, no extra efforts to please someone, no impression creating, image creating businesses, no burden of um, creating any importance all by yourself. No? You will know your self-worth. All the complications of relationship to hold is gone, is erased out of the picture. Now how will the relationship survive? Be it mother father, be it sister brother, be it your consort, be it your kids, the relationship will survive on anabhisneha, true love. How will it be? How the life would very clean. No efforts put in. No headaches. All the trouble happens only when we think, my son is doing it. My daughter has gone like that. You see? My. It very much happens with parents. I don't know how many of you can relate this, but it very much happens with parents because parents think kids are their property because they make one, so they think they are properties. So there is ownership kind of relationship is also there. Two, lots and lots of expectations of one particular regard. In that regard, which they have thought about progress, no, they have thought about good things about their kids, you know, and they suffer also. I'm not being very gruesome here, but they suffer also. They suffer when the kids are in pain. They do that also. As Uli says, cut the drama. Why this drama? Why do we have to live in this drama? Suffering others' pain, you know, trying to strategize to escalate the present state of others. Why all this drama? Can't we all do this without the subjugation of emotions in it? Like we do social work. How do we do social work? You offer help. If the help is taken, you're happy. If the help is not wanted, you're even happy. Shubha, Ashubha, you're out of it. Good and bad, you have overcome that. So there is no trouble that I haven't offered my help. I haven't done my duty. There's no trouble there because you did, you know. And there is no trouble that. So I thought Arti had a question. Huh? Okay. So come what may, good or bad, auspicious or inauspicious, going out of it is the key. Otherwise, tapyate anisham, he will burn day in and day out. With what? With the sneha. Snehavan tapyate anisham, says Shrimad Bhagavad. The person who is attached will burn day in and day out because of his attachment. Previously, we were working about bhaya and krodha, fear and anger. Now he is concentrating only upon the mother. Attachment is the mother, and fear and anger are the kids we learned. Now we are working on the mother, on the parent. Yes, sarvatra anabhisneha tat tat prapya shubha shubha. Even when there is pleasure, even when there is pain, he acts, discharges his duties without attachment, without a streak of attachment into his actions, be it body, be it mind, be it senses, as an act of worship, as an act coupled with surrender attitude, action with relaxation, action with awareness. Na abhinandati na dveshti. Comes the next line. He or she, the yogi, is not super excited about the pleasure. Na dveshti. He or she does not hate anyone for that situation. Sometimes we are happy and unhappy. Sometimes we choose what is good and grip into it. Something which is not okay, we sort of hate it. Like I've seen that in terms of death. Okay? Nobody wants to speak about death. Everybody is scared of death. Death is inauspicious. Everybody wants to be mortal. Immortal. You know, like an 80-year-old is happy when she's saying, you look 40. Or the moment we recognize our body being part of some kind of sickness, the moment we try to work upon it with a fear aspect, oh my God, this might be leading to deformity, death. So either we grip into pleasure so much or we hate that which is bad. I was talking to my mom. I don't know whether you can relate to this or not. It is a state of bhakti where she was narrating that how she is planning to go to a temple, but there are so many other hindering factors. And it is a special occasion. There would be darshan, there would be whether she could visit the temple itself is a big question. So I said, Ma, even if you're there and you don't get to visit the temple because of the closing hours, because of the crowd, by sitting there and crying that I couldn't get the darshan itself is a blessing. Because act of crying, she gave that Tamil phrase of Tiruvasagam. The act of crying in remembrance of the grace of the Lord itself is bhakti. Not visiting and looking at the Lord, getting the darshan of the Lord. So that which seems to be bad and inauspicious, has to be embraced. Has to be embraced. I'm talking in Luchi's language. Has to be embraced. Why? Why am I firm in this? Why do I firmly believe in this? Because that which is bad, the bad times that comes into your life, make you more disciplined. Make you a person with a kind of revelation. Make you understand that, yes, slowly, there is dissipation of the accumulated karma, sanchita karma. Make you realize that bad times shall also pass. Make you more strong from within, like Mount Meru, Mount Himalaya. Because your resolve is strong. And I can add some feminine qualities also in it, not only masculine qualities. Make you more cool-headed when you embrace your bad times. So if you are open to embrace your bad times, good times are just easy thing for you. Piece of cake that we have been doing all the time. Now, hence Kunti in Mahabharata, in Bhagavatam, there is this Kunti Stuti, where Kunti asks for more bad times in life. Krishna, please bless me with bad times. Why? During bad times, I always see you by my side. You're there to take care of me. I don't have to move a thing. I'm being graced by your presence. I'm being strengthened by your charm, by your dharma, by the ways that you tackle my evil situations. But at good times, you're not there. I'm so easily carried away. I'm taken away by the waves. So please, Krishna, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Bless me with bad times. And then you leave. You know, he was about to leave to his place from Hastinapura to Dwaraka. So she catches hold of his feet, and said, Kunti's nephew is Lord Krishna. He's such a young son-like person to him. Still, understanding the value of the soul is very important. Otherwise, you will miss many people, many good-hearted in your lives. Okay, sorry if I'm being distracted. Bad times in life. That's the clue. Not dveshti. There shouldn't be any hatred towards bad times. What do we do? Frequently we have this, I don't know whether we make it, create it honestly, but definitely we have this columnar priorities in life. One column has all good things in it. The other column has all the opposite of it. Eventually you like a person because of the characteristics that are in column A. Those persons who have characters of column B, you will hate them. You will not be comfortable. You will not be in their circle. You will start acting weird when they are around. I like Gauravji's explanation very well. I think I've mentioned this couple of times. I used to call him, you don't drink, you don't have cigarette smoking habits. But why do you be with those who drinks, who smokes, and then having friends like that has no point. You're still hanging out with them. How is this possible? How can you do it? He says the answer really struck deep inside my heart. He says, how will you adapt yourself if you don't have a friend like that? How will you socially be adaptable? You don't have to be standing like a banyan tree all the time. In floods, the banyan tree is the first thing that is uprooted. So in bad times, moving like a slender, what do you call it, tendril, no? Which is flexible to situations, adapts to the changes, still not losing its individual capacity. That's also more important, no? Not losing the individual capacity, not he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he does not lose his individual capacity, but still can hang out with friends. So embracing the opposite nature, embracing the opposite things, the contradictory ones, is also equally important. Otherwise, what you will become a rigid person. The rigidity will seemingly seep in your body slowly. No, I am not rigid. I'm not. It will seep in your body. You will find yourself rigid there. Then you realize, yes, I am rigid. I've been rigid, perhaps psychically, and that had inflicted my body. No? It takes a lot of time. I used to tell my yoga participants, it takes a lot of time for the disease to travel from Manomaya Kosha to Annamaya Kosha, from mind to body. It takes a lot of time. The body in the energetic manner starts to give some symptoms. We call them as clinical symptoms. So when you see those alarming signs, what do you have to do before the disease gets established in the body? Try and resurrect. Go back to your manomaya kosha. Go back to your mind. What is that I did wrong there? Why did it happen to me? Fix there, we'll fix here. Fix your psychic attitude, the notion, will fix your body. Embracing the opposite, that which is not in your priority list, that which is against column A, is one key thing that a yogi does. With what attitude? With an attitude of bhakti in his heart. He says, whatever that is given, good or bad, is his grace. He is not an examiner. He is not there to test you, my dear. He is the loving father. That's how we know him. Yeah. But it is given for you to grow. Will you like traveling on 4 legs all the time? No. There is walking reflex in your heart. Yeah. You have to take a tumble. You have to stand up, fall, struggle. Then you get to walk. Have you ever seen a child learning walking from the mother? No. The mother is happy. My God, my baby. All the other things have been taught by the mother. Holding a spoon, how to hold a fork, how to eat, everything. that which is innate, to bring it out, you have to take a toll. So he or she, a yogi, accepts that to be his blessing. Well, this is in toll because I'm growing. My papa wants me to grow. Okay. Na abhinandati na dveshti. Not getting super excited, not getting happy, always sticking to that is good. We're sticking to that. No? And not hating that which is bad. Na abhinandati na dveshti. Tasya prajna pratishtita. In him, the buddhi, the Vijnanamaya kosha, the intellect, abides itself in the heart. In whom? In the sage who had worked on his priorities and odd times, in the sage who had worked on his sneha, in his attachments. In him, the intellect abides in the self. Prajna means awareness. What kind of awareness? Awareness, not bodily awareness. Oh, my toes are getting numb. Oh, it is cold. No. It is the viveka. I've been telling you. Viveka, the discerning power between truth and untruth. The ever-changing principle and the unchanging entity. That viveka is prajna. That awareness is the real awareness. So in him, the awareness is stable. Because why? The intellect takes abide in the heart. Not the physiological heart, but the center, in the self. Before understanding this, I have to mention you this. People try to run away from the problems, thinking that if I'm going to meditate in the caves of Himalayas, taking a spiritual camp there, everything is going to be all right. If you are that person, I'll remind you that before you reaching the cave, your destiny would have been camping there waiting to receive you. Then, being there in the Himalayas, you will have the revelation, oh, this also comes under the purview of Maya, of illusion. So the thing is, don't fly away from situations. Don't flinch. Escaping from the situations is not a spiritual thing. And that is not the real state of renouncing, my dears. What is the real state of renouncement? Wherever God had put you, be there. Discharge your duties with the sense of renouncing the identity. I identity in the body. I identity in the mind. I identity in the sense. That is real. That is the answer to all problems. The solution cannot be flying away. The solution cannot be renouncing the place. Let me go away from this hell and I'll be happy. No, you'll never be. There would be waiting wherever you go. Why? Because life is the best teacher. No, life wants you to learn. Even when you choose your place, this is said to be the most important, most significant place. Okay, here I would live in a better manner. Uh-uh. USA is the best example. Yeah, that's a new country, a new continent with all the luxuries, with all the technological breakthroughs, with all solutions to the problems. Name any, there would be a solving app, there would be a luxurious thing which is readily available. No? Perhaps they will even create some pills to get out of hunger. Huh? Anything can happen there. Living there is peaceful, thinking that it is a free country, liberty is the watchword. Nobody is free. Everybody is worried when there would be a when there would be a solace from the drug culture that the public is having, when there would be a sense of freedom from the gun culture that they are uh, encountering with. So the, the solution is not outside, clear. Work within, work on your attachments, work on how you take your times, odds or even. How do you respond to it? Work there. That's it and done. Coming back to Tasya Prajna Pratishtita, the intellect gets stably settled in the self. Which kind of intellect? We've been talking about a lot about this intellect, lot about this buddhi called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Krishna talks about this. We've been seeing in the previous shlokas, where the act of resolve, the strong, determined intellect. What strong determination? However superfluous the Maya can be, the illusional world can be, I know this is unreal. That clarity of understanding to differentiate. That is Vyavasaya. Dhiraha tatrana mukhyati, says Upanishad. This wisdom, who has this wisdom, is called the Dhira, the person with valor. You know, we think the person, a valorous person who is always courageous, knows how to sport fight, knows how to win battles. No. Vedas, Upanishads basically talks about this valor, this inner courage, this inner strength, who has the determined resolve to, to stay with the self, to stay with the inner peace, to stay with the consciousness. How wavery the mind can be, how wavery the intellect can also be, sometimes. How changing the situations, the physical environment can be. It is a constant call that we do for the intellect. No? When there is change in the environment, the intellect is called. When there is an imbalance in the mind, the intellect is called. When there is a bad situation, the intellect is called. This constant call, constant burden over this intellect. Only when the intellect is in the state of repose, is in the state of self, it acts better. There is clarity. There is clarified understanding. The actions discharged out of this clarified understanding is like that of Rama's, is like that of Krishna's. Why? Because they don't have their leg, their foot in the mind, in the body, or in the senses that are changing. they have their strong feet in this clarified understanding, that perceptive awareness of intellect, which had already taken the refuge of self. He has already taken the refuge of self. I was listening to the discourse of my guru of Valmiki Ramayana, where at one point, I'll finish with this story, where at this one point, Rama becomes angry. Rama gets angry. Any guesses? Rama gets angry? Rama gets angry when he penances for 3 full days and nights. Lying down in Shavasana, meditates and penances for the Varuna Deva, the sea god, to come, to appear. Why he needs the support of sea god? Because there is a huge water body between India and Sri Lanka. In Lanka, there is Sita. He has to get back the abducted wife. He has to go fight. Because the evil Rakshasa, the demon king, Ravana, is, after sending multiple messages of peace messengers, he is not, he, he is a person who learns by his lessons, So lessons have to be learned, lessons have to be taught. So he gets up after the 3 full days and nights penance. He gets up, stands up, and calls Lakshmana, his brother. Chapamanaya, bring that bow. Now everybody, the Vanaras, are taking this lightly. This something is happening. Rama is asking for his bow. Okay. But Lakshmana understood that he is angry. And then he is very specific. With the bow, not only the bow, with the arrows. Lakshmana brings the arrows which are not sharp, which are bent, bent a bit. Then he again becomes specific, saying that not these arrows. I want the sharp ones. Until then, nobody understands that Rama is angry. There are around 100,000, what do you call 100,000? Millions of Vanaras around. Nobody understands that he is angry. And then the last word he says, let me dry this ocean of... Huh? What's happening? Is he talking about drying the ocean? No. Then people understand, oh, he's angry. If there is a tapa, if there is a penance, there should be an outcome. There should be a phala, tapa phala. It should be blessed. No? So hence he is angry. But look at his words. Look how he strides. He wants things to be in place. He moves in the dharmic manner, the righteous manner. If things are not being turning up in the right manner with the righteous acts, then we say that the lid of the tin has to be taken off with a spoon, with a fulcrum. No, it's a different way of opening the tin lid. So the second option is to install anger in the system and then bringing prowess into action, and then things can be done. When looking at that, ocean god comes, oh my lord, please don't do anything. All these things happen, and then he says, I can't dry my waters away. Whatever stones you put, they will float. Until now, the Neelas, it is the Neela's bridge, the commander-in-chief of Rama, Nala and Neela, Nala's bridge, which is called as Adam's bridge in the in the world map for some reason. Even now they don't sink, they float. You will find them. Anyways, coming back to our point, when the intellect has taken refuge in self, see how the actions are. Even there is anger, but there is no, only the person whom the anger is revealed understands that there is an anger. Not the other ones are affected. But what happens when we are, when the intellect sets or takes the toll of mind and play? The emotions set in when you're angry, you self-hurt yourself, you hurt people around, you make things messy. No? Hence I said, the action should spring out from the Vijnanamaya Kosha, from the intellect, which has already taken or established itself, taken the refuge or established itself in Anandamaya Kosha, in the blissful sheath. If if the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect, falls for the prey of Manomaya Kosha, falls for the, what do you call, the flowery language of the mind, then what happens? Mind takes the upper hand and it starts to play. Intellect becomes the slave. Okay, do whatever you want. Hence, Krishna says, Sthita Prajna. Your determined intellect will always establish itself in self and not in any other if you work on your attachments, sneha. Work on the situations of plight. Don't take it as plight. Work on the situations of good times. Do not get more affinity towards good too much. Don't stick to it. Then you will be a Sthita Prajna. That's how a Sthita Prajna will be. I'll end here. Any questions?